many times, too many times, too many times.
Hey, yo, Zach, this shit hard.
What's up, everybody? It's Dave Drakes with the Collective Experience, and we are back for another episode of the Foul Plugs Moto Show. And I know Manny's not here. Manny's too busy for us. He's doing cool guy stuff. So I brought the second best. No, I'm kidding. I brought my other buddy, Mr. Brad Gebhardt, which I'm sure you guys have seen him on many of TCE things. And we are amped to get going on what we saw in Arlington 1, 2, and 3. Brad, what's up, dude? Like, how have you been? It's been a minute since you've been on. We haven't seen your face. We don't know if you're alive or not. I was worried, like a worried mother. How are you, dude?
Batting, cleanup, second string, whatever it has to be. Happy to be here, man. I appreciate any time that you want me to fill in for one of your more superior guests that you have come on. But it's great to connect with you. I appreciate it. BigMX Radio is doing fantastic. We're about to release an episode with Superman himself, Blair Morgan. That'll come out tomorrow, the 25th of March on the Thursday. And yeah, things are clicking, man. Supercross is only 5 rounds to go. It's amazing. This series has gone by so fast. And all things are great. How about you?
Things are going very splendid. We've had a couple of our TCE SX watch parties going on. A lot of cool content on our YouTube channel, getting geared up for the MX TCE internship program. Just making sure that we're carrying on with a lot of cool things that we want to implement throughout the end of the year and beyond. Dude, I will just going back for a minute. I am so amped for that freaking Blair Morgan interview because we kind of grew up in the same moto era. So I think both of us kind of have the same sort of reverence for that guy and all he's done. Like, the dude is just an action sports, just nut job, is super badass. So I'm pretty amped on that. And if you guys haven't checked out Brad's catalog of his numerous podcasts and interviews, please check them out. They're so good. And Brad keeps it interesting, fun, and insightful like no one else. So Brad, keep it going. Very proud of you. Very proud. Yeah, so let's get into it. We got a lot of cool stuff to talk about from Arlington 1, 2, and 3. Gonna kind of make it very concise and condense it all into just the Arlington residency, coining a term that I know you love.
Bullshit.
First off, I want to talk about the 250 class. We've had a lot of different guys that are poking their head up and wanting to assert dominance. We're getting a lot of or a lot of new winners in this one. Not too many multi-time winners in the 250 West class, which I'm pretty amped about. As fans, we love that parity, right? So we're gonna put some time on the clock, Brad. Who do you think is the one shining star in the 250 West so far this year? Who do you think is a man that stands head and shoulders above the rest?
I think it's the guy that we predicted was going to be most dominant throughout this entire series. And it's basically kind of been a miracle to everybody else that it's even really a series right now. If not for three butt ugly races from Justin Cooper, I think he would have ran the table. You have 3 guys who won their very first Supercross ever in McAdoo, as well as Lawrence, and then Hammaker doing so, and they did a fantastic job. That's awesome for them, but they capitalized on off nights for Justin Cooper. I think for all intents and purposes, he easily could have been, was that 5 for 5 already? Or maybe it's 5 for 5.
However many races we had.
They've raced 5 times. I think he's had the speed every single time. He's been the fastest qualifier every single time. And I think this just goes to show his abilities. And we haven't seen it on every night, but going forward, I think that he's going to be able to be more consistent. 3 races in Atlanta. It's all open air stadiums where all kinds of crazy shit can happen. But for all intents and purposes, I think he's got this thing. And in my book, he's been most dominant.
I agree, man. And it's baffling that a guy that is so fast and so obviously the man in the class, right? That he's not doing more, man, that he's not out here, like you said, yarding these guys by a lot, winning all 5 races and just absolutely killing it. Not to take anything away from McAdoo, who is an absolute beast this year, or Lawrence, who we all know is a super lethal and vicious component for those guys. It's really just kind of, again, baffling and just shows just how successful, as we got 30 seconds left, just how successful everyone really wants to be at this level. They all want to continue to keep amping it up and going faster. So Justin Cooper,
I think they're just keeping him honest. I think the rest of the field is keeping Justin honest. And he's, I think, like, obviously he didn't feel totally prepared for coming in. But I think he's also noticing that his skills are rising to the top, and those guys are making him be better on every night. And that's been the difference.
I agree with you 100%.
And that's 3 minutes.
Let's go on to the 450 class. And again, hats off to all the 250 guys that were killing it. Let's move on to 450s. And we've seen a little bit of shuffling of momentum as of late, which is the whole big story right now, is Ken Roczen going from the highest of the highs right now and sort of handing that momentum over to none other than Cooper Webb, who seems like he has Roczen in his back pocket when it comes to the mental game and really having that mental fortitude towards the end of the races, which we know Kenny, it seems like he's not really there for. Brad, I want to ask you, obviously Cooper Webb is the points leader and he's crushing it right now, killing it. It looks like he's going to win this title, much to my chagrin. Not that I'm nothing against Cooper. I'm a Roczen fan. Do you think Kenny can bounce back from where he is right now?
I think that his riding can improve, but I don't think that it's going to see a difference or have a falter effect to a guy like Cooper Webb. I think that honestly, through all the championships that he's raced throughout his career, Cooper Webb's worst enemy has been when the ball is rolling in the wrong direction for him. When things are moving in his direction, has this amazing ability to keep that moving. He has that, like, he can build off of it. I think he's one of the only guys out there that is so greatly affected by that boost of confidence, and he can grab that and keep it going week after week after week. Will Ken Roczen become a more solid competitor throughout the rest of the series? He might be, but I still think that Cooper Webb has established himself as the most dominant guy in the class right now. I think he's really happy about how his bike is handling, and I think he's going to be most successful.
I agree with you, man. I think Cooper is he just can't be denied, right? He has momentum.
It's been 4 races since we saw. It's been more than that. It's been Kenny hasn't won since
Indy
Orlando.
3. I think it was
Indy 3.
Yeah. Yep.
So it's been like a month, more than a month.
So I just don't see how we can take that confidence, that momentum, that's just all about want to win away from Webb and put that in Kenny right now. I think Kenny put himself in too big of a deficit, and he let Cooper just get away from him too fast, point blank.
Yeah, so 6 races. Yeah, that's a long time between wins. And he's had some bad races. He had one really bad race in there, the first Dallas, where he was mired in the back. We all thought that did Eli won Daytona, and like, holy crap, here comes Eli. And that's not turned out to be the case. But honestly, I had a lot of respect for Eli when I talked to him in the post-race press conference about basically like whether or not he has, like, if everybody else has moved forward or if he's struggling. And he said, honestly, both. Everybody else has stepped up, but I haven't been my best either. And that's resulted in a championship that I think is in the driver's seat for Cooper Webb.
I agree with you, and I was going to ask you about Eli Tomac, so that did cover the next topic. So we're still on time, so that works. Another point of contention for a lot of fans as well as racers alike, more so racers, has been the tracks this year. They haven't been the best. Apart from Daytona, we saw a lot of guys say that this was one of the better Daytonas. They did like it, but as far as the traditional Supercross venues and rounds, they really haven't jived with the tracks, except for A3. Arlington 3. That track gave a lot of options in terms of rhythm sections. They did like the Welp section. I feel like it favored different riders at different points, which is what we're used to from races back in the day. Like when you watch the Rickies, the James, the Chads, the Wyndhams, they were all doing different rhythms, making up time in different spots, and it made the racing that much more exciting. And I think is what we got. Brad, I want to ask you, do you think that we're going to see more tracks like this? And if we do see more tracks like this, who do you think they're going to favor?
I don't think we're going to see more tracks like this. I happen to have noticed this year more than ever, and it's often a knee-jerk reaction from Feld and all those guys to basically shape a track to accommodate a situation that's not going to result in a lot of injuries. They don't want guys to leave the class. I remember back in 2013 when they really tamed down the tracks, because at the very tail end of 2012, the champion of the series had a torn up knee. He didn't finish off the series, if you remember, in 2012. Poto tearing up his knee, but he had such a big lead that he still won the championship. It was ridiculous. He had guys like Andrew Short winning races at the tail end of that season. And then the very next year, whoops got smaller. A lot of the tracks were designed with a lot of 90s or funneling guides to the inside of corners, and that creates a lot of safe lines. And like you said, back in the early 2000s, we saw guys going up and down through the straightaways, and there was different ways to jump different lines, but they were all somewhat close. And back to two strokes when things were better, and all that fun stuff. But what I see is, I think it was a strategic thing that we've had these back-to-back races where it's like 3 in a row. They don't want to have a dangerous or tricky track on the first Saturday, because if two guys get injured that one, and then another guy gets injured on the Wednesday, by the time the Tuesday, by the time they race next Saturday, like, it's such a quick turnaround. You won't have anybody on the line. You'll have guys like Alex Ray in the main event. Like, nobody wants that. Kidding. I love you, Alex. But in all seriousness, I think that was, given the fact that we have a 21-day break from A3, like you had mentioned, to the first round in A1, Atlanta won, that there was room for the ability to have that track that presented those different obstacles, something that required a little bit more risk, knowing that if anybody comes off the bike, there's a good to fair chance that they're going to be able to race in 3 weeks' time.
I have to agree with that. Everything. I'm just excited to see more exciting racing, more exciting track design. And that brings me back. And speaking of new things, I would be remiss if I did not mention Speed and Sport Adventures. It is an all new adventure touring venture where you're able to go on private tours with some of your favorite motorsports superstar figures, such as Destry Abbott, Grant Langston, as well as others. Very excited to be partnered up with Speed and Sport. Ryan Sipes, exactly. Like, come on.
I got to share a bed with Ryan Sipes one time. It's a weird story.
I want to hear about that story, man.
Yeah, we shared a hotel room.
Okay. That makes more sense.
Yeah, we had to get all snuggled up in Denver when at the Thunder Valley National. Was it 2017?
Lucky you. I'm sure there's a lot of chicks
he ended
out
up winning the 125 challenge the next day, man. That was lots of fun.
You were a secret weapon?
I think he was. I was, honestly. I think warm at night, big Canadian guy next to him, keeping him warm. He wins the race. We ended up going out to like a TGI Fridays and getting all fucked up that night. It was great.
That's awesome. Now, if you want your chance to hang out with pro riders like Ryan Sipes, as well as many, many others, not in the Brad way, and be able to go on exclusive adventure touring treks, stay at some of the most amazing and scenic just destination locations, and be treated like the ultimate fan of the sport and VIP, check out Speed and Sport. We're going to link that below. Those guys are doing something phenomenal, and we want you all to be a part of it. Check that out for sure. And while you're at it, head to thecollectivexp.com and be sure to take a look at our MX TCE internship program we have coming in just a couple short weeks, where you get a chance to go behind the scenes with your favorite MX racers and be fully immersed in the sport that we all love, myself and Brad included. You get a chance to really make great connections, really get your hands dirty, and make a name for yourself in the sport, all while getting experience and doing something that's super, super fun. So check that out, guys. Brad, now we do this every single foul plugs. And this Manny's favorite, but we're just going to be your favorite for right now. Let's get into the super famous drip check. So, Brad, we saw a lot of cool kits, a lot of cool setups. I want to hear from you because I have my favorites. Who did you think had the sickest setups in all of the Arlington rounds?
Oh, that's, you know what, like, and it's now, it feels like it's been longer ago, but it hasn't been. For a drip check, honestly, there's so much great gear out there, and I think honestly, like, I haven't given them their due in the past. I'm gonna have to right now. Cody Schock, the bike coming together with the gear and the helmet and the red, white, and blue in the great state of Texas. Honestly, like you as well as I know, I give a hard time to the FXR guys here and there, but I can't take a single thing away from them there. It's one of the best looks out there this year. And then honorable mention to our current second in points, showing off that brand new limited edition gear with Fox was Kenny. He had that kind of like that new 180 gear that they came out with, the image line that came out just on the Friday. But honestly, I'd have to give my tip of the cap to one Cody Schock.
I'll have to agree with you. And actually, this is pretty rare. Normally, I'm the one going all in for FXR because they're such a great company. They treat me so
Shocker.
well. But I'm gonna have to say yes, Cody Schock, but also quick runner up. I'm gonna say I love the stuff that Hunter Lawrence was wearing. That guy looks super sharp in that A-Star setup.
He does.
Really, really cool. I mean, it does help when when your dirt bike has a red background and everything else. That makes it look that much cooler. But no, I thought he looked phenomenal. The kit just looks so futuristic, and awesome. But yeah, like you said, Cody Schock, the dude takes the cake, man. He looks so sick in that setup.
I still think that kit of the year so far was that blue and red stuff that Kenny was wearing at Indy 3. Yeah, that was next level.
Insane.
I've never seen a color of gear pop off the screen like that one did. That was really, really special.
Exactly. And we talked about it. It made us feel like we were like looking through a Transworld magazine from back in the day, wanting gear. I haven't had that feeling since I was a kid. And I saw that and I was like, ooh, that looks pretty cool. I kind of want to.
You remember flipping through and they had those ads with hot sauce back in the day, Ivan Tedesco, and he had that like the Thor gear with the gum. The brown, like the black and the brown, like good luck making black and brown gear look good. That stuff.
That's how you do it. Yeah, guys, let us know what you think as far as our drip check choices. Be sure to leave us a comment. Let us know what you guys think and who you think should have been drip checked this year. We're just kind of moseying along while we're almost finished here. We have one more segment to go through, and that is our power rankings as we head into the Atlanta rounds. Atlanta residency, just to piss off. And Brad,
do you get less money from these if I say fuck on here?
If we only say it once, we should be good. But no, who do you think is going to be the guys that are going to be the standouts when we head into the Georgia Peach State?
Honestly, moving into a track that is going to be more along the lines of a Daytona, at least as far as the shape of it, I still think you're going to get Georgia clay late in the evenings, a lot of moisture. I'm thinking that it's going to be slick. It's going to be there's going to be some opportunities for guys to have the front end slip out. So I'm not going with Martin Davalos on this one because he doesn't have his mechanic doesn't even have to clean the front end. He washes it for him. I think it's going to be Eli Tomac because he has very little to I don't know if he has very little to race for. Still, guy still makes a lot of money when he wins. Yeah. But I think that it's a little bit of pride, a little bit of wanting to make best on the year, to win some races. I think we're going to see some race wins from Eli Tomac, and I think that Ken Roczen has no choice but to do well. So I think he's going to step up as well, especially because the guy got 2 outdoor titles and his closest competitor right now has none in Cooper Webb on a 450. That is that he's going to be have a really special residency in Atlanta. If I want to talk 250s, I think honestly, the 2 top guys that I'm expecting to be really good at Atlanta are the 2 Kawasaki guys. I think that Hammaker is going to be lights out fast. I think he's better outdoors than he is in. And I think that same can be said about Cameron McAdoo. So I expect both those guys to get at least one win in Atlanta.
Definitely. One thing I would have to say is I probably would expect Mr. Jason Anderson to show us a little something going into Atlanta. I think he just parties the whole 3 weeks and comes back like really behind the 8 ball. I think he's in one right now. Yeah. I think he's in one. He's just he's in New Mexico. Yeah. He's just taking tacos and team fried and fucking in one. And he's not going to come out swinging. I don't know. I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but I think I'm right. those drier, slicker tracks, he really tends to show us something.
Okay.
When it gets kind of a little gnarly, a little slick, that guy seems to show up. So we'll see. But everyone else, I definitely agree. Guys, let us know what you think. Again, hit those comments below. And if you've enjoyed this so far, please feel free to hit the subscribe button and check out, again, Brad with BigMX Radio, as well as the collectivexq.com. We had
check out the podcast. Like, I have at least 4 good episodes out of the 800.
At least, at minimum.
Probably.
At minimum.
They're older ones, though, not anything recent, but yeah, 806 episodes. Newest one are being released in the next 24 hours.
Brad is absolutely killing it. So guys, show him some love. Thank you for tuning in with us. Brad, this is fun. We're going to do this again after the next couple of races. And guys, be sure to check out the announcements of our TCE SX watch parties. We want you guys to be a part of it, as well as our internship programs that are trickling down the pipeline. As always, check out our vlogs. We have a full catalog. Hit the subscribe button and stay tuned to what we have coming up next. Brad, it's been fun, man.
Always a pleasure. Never a chore.
See you, buddy.
It is what it is. Ain't no